Hello, everyone. This is Renee Rentmeester from the Cooking Without Looking TV show. I'm the creator and executive producer of the show. It was the first TV show ever created featuring people who are blind and visually impaired. And today we have Roger Sullivan, who is going to tell us all about his life and his air fryer chicken. Hello, how are you, Roger?
Very well. And you?
I'm doing great today. How's the weather over there you're in New Jersey or Pennsylvania?
No, I'm Pennsylvania. Yeah, close to New Jersey, not too far from there. But yeah, it's a little breezy, not too hot, not too cold. It's perfect for a nice little sit out.
Oh, that's good. Are you outside?
No, I'm in the house. My phone won't pick up on the internet if I'm outside for some reason. Must be. I live in an old one-room schoolhouse. It was converted into a house.
Oh, how cool is that? How old is it?
Oh, this school dates back to the early 1800s.
Amazing. And then you refurbished it or someone else did?
The landowner did. I rent. I'm too old to own a house.
Oh, okay. All righty. Well, Roger,
By the time,
um,
but, yeah,
I'm
go ahead.
sorry, go on.
Oh, that's okay. Go ahead.
We always say that we are here to change the way people see blindness, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, of course, you've already heard my name, but my name's Roger Sullivan, and I've had poor vision all my life, but I just never knew how poor it really was until later on in school when I was made aware of the National Library Service. And I was like in fifth or sixth grade at the time, and my teacher got me hooked up with that, and I started using those large print books, and I couldn't never really see those either, so I didn't really pay much attention, and my grades were very poor. So then they decided to get the tape series, and I didn't like that either because it wasn't right where the kids were, and it was difficult. Back then, they were on tape. They had the cassette tape and the record and the player, and it was
Right.
very difficult to rewind and go back and forth and keep up with what the other students were. So I kind of didn't do anything. I figured, if I don't get the right help, I'm not going to do nothing at all. So I made it through grade school, and then went through junior high with difficulty. No matter where they put me in the room, I couldn't see the board, and it didn't even matter how big they made the letters. I just couldn't see it. So
Wow.
they again, yeah. So they again, when I hit 10th grade, they got me involved in the large book program again. I said, I can't see books, and they said, oh, at least you can do is try. So and and so they didn't embarrass me. They kept my books in the back of the room where I sat, and I would grab one, and then I was embarrassed because I'd had to fumble through all those books just to find the right spot where all my other classmates were in that book, and I couldn't find the chapters or anything, so I just didn't do anything at all, and my grades suffered through that.
Did the
And
other kids
then
know that you had a vision problem?
they knew I couldn't see well, but didn't know that to the extent because if they did, they'd be calling me Bug Eyes because some have done that. They've called me Bug Eyes and
Oh
uh,
no.
different names like that. So I kept it on the down low. And back in the 70s and early 80s, you got bullied for having a disability. Some people, you just got bullied. And we lived in a rural community, and it was much worse because you had to live in the neighborhood with all those people. So you just kind of kept to yourself and didn't say anything about it. And then when I got a job, I finally got a job that I could keep in 1989. I applied for a hospital job, and they hired me, and I just ad libbed. They asked me if I had any problems. Oh no, I don't have any problems. And
What
then
kind of a hospital job, Roger?
general, I was working in the housekeeping department. I'm like, even a blind guy could do this stuff. So I did it, and I was doing patient rooms, and I kept getting wrote up for missing spots in patient rooms and things like that. But and I didn't say anything, and then I worked there for 20 years, and then for like 2/3 of that, they kept me on one job, and I thought I was doing great. That's why they kept me on that one job. Well, it turned out that my eye doctor specialist, which is right across the street from the hospital I worked, had a meeting with them because they were going to fire me. And
Oh,
the eye doctor said, "You can't fire Mr. Sullivan. He's got a family. He can't see. If you fire him, he'll never get a job anywhere else, and you know he won't be able to take care of his family." So
how did you
they
find out
got
they told that they helped you that
he
way?
told me several years later when I had my current eye problem where in 2008 he waited till 2008 to tell me that. Well, I kept your job for you all those years at Warren General because I told him they had a family and just to find something you could do. So that's what they did, and I didn't know that. I didn't know that I was being pampered upon by the staff of Warren General. If I would have known that, I would have been angry. But I'm glad they didn't. They
Do
didn't
you think
let me know.
do you think that that's the reason a lot of people hide whatever vision issue they have because they might lose their job or people will look at them differently?
Absolutely, absolutely. Fortunately, times are changing. Times are changing, and the people that were bullied for certain things 20, 25, 30 years ago, they're not being bullied anymore. They're being looked after in some cases, not all, but in some cases they're being looked after and watched out for because they're making effort and they're not, they're just tired of being bullied. So they come right out with it and take whatever they get. And for a lot of cases, they don't get bullied anymore. So
That's a
I'm
good
glad of
thing.
that. Yeah. So then in 2008, uh, I really couldn't see hardly anything at all. So I called any eye doctor I could get on a Saturday. Said I need to get in. I can't see, man. I was freaking out, and so they got me into the doctor's office, and he's looking at me, and he says, "Roger, no wonder you can't see." I said, "What?" He goes, "Well, your optic nerves are dying. You have what
Oh,
they call optic atrophy. Your optic nerves are supposed to be a rosy pink color, but yours are bone white." I went, "Oh,
wow.
so what's that mean? Am I going to go completely blind?" Well, I don't know. This could be like this for a while, but eventually, probably as you age, you will. So, and that's where I'm at today. So I'm like, what do I do? So I just started going through all these books and literature to see what I could do. So I found Visual Services, which is in the town of Erie, PA, and I called them up, and they uh, helped me get orientation and mobility training, and they got me set up. That was the most scariest time of my life when I had to learn to get around and depend on people to tell me the truth, like
What was
navigating around town. And when I got training, they didn't train me in my own town. They took me all the way to the city to do that.
Oh
And
no. So that
yeah,
was scary.
it
Orientational
was
mobility in a big city.
it was scary because I'm a country boy, and they told me how to get on the bus, and when you get on the bus and the bus door opens, don't ask them, don't make a question out of it because they'll just shake their head. So you got to
Oh,
say it. Well, you got to say what instead of is. Say what bus is this? Is this bus 22? Yes, it is. So they'll and that kind of stuff like that. So because if you say what bus is this, if you don't say that, if you say is this bus 22, they'll shake their heads. They won't even speak, even though you got a big old white cane in front of your face.
yeah, they
So and
don't
a lot,
always understand that white cane, do they?
no, they don't, and some people don't today. They don't today still. They're like, what's that thing for? This guy, I work at our local YMCA, and this is funny. This guy was uh, he was a counselor for human services counselor, and he's walking down. He goes, Raj, what's that thing that you're using? I said, what do you mean, what thing? This white thing? Yeah, what is that? I said, oh, I'm looking for water. And he goes, oh.
Tap into the water supply, right,
Yeah,
Roger?
that's right. I said, I'm looking for water. I'm like, stupid questions get stupid answers.
Well, what's the craziest question you've ever gotten?
What's the craziest question I ever got?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
about your vision.
how do I eat? I'm like, and I gave him a stupid answer to that one too. I said, what? I just take the bowl and I put all my food in the bowl because it don't matter if it's all mixed up, and I just throw it on the floor so I don't make a table mess. Isn't that how you guys eat?
What did they say? How did they reply?
Oh, most of the time they don't respond at all. They're like, dumb question gets a dumb answer. So yeah, yeah. So
You
I've
pretty much know where your mouth is.
yeah. It's muscle memory. Your arm does know how many bends it takes to get to the center of your face. So yeah. So yeah, it's very. So I've been. So then I got connected with the NFB, and they helped me out quite a bit. And I've gotten a job through BBBS. I work at the YMCA. I do cleaning.
Oh,
I
what do you do
self-taught
there?
my. I clean the gym areas and stuff. So
Right, right.
obviously we don't do detail work, but I give 100% of what I can do. Like Helen Keller
Sure.
said, yeah. Like Helen Keller said, I won't refuse to do anything I can do.
So
So,
during this coronavirus, you've really you're one of the essential workers.
well, no, not really. We were laid off from. Let me see. We got laid off about mid-March, and we didn't get called back until probably a couple weeks now. We've been back. Yeah, so we
Oh,
weren't because they closed down the gyms and everything here. They just shut
yeah.
down everything, and we did go back earlier before the gym opens because the YMCA applied for that grant that they could keep their people on the payroll, so
Oh,
that
yes.
we were able to go back a little early and make sure everything was up to snuff for reopening. And even now we're under strict guidelines, like we had to move some equipment around and put it in different rooms so that we can keep that 6 foot distance, and hand sanitizer all over the building, and we have to wear masks.
So how do you
So,
find that 6 foot distance as a person who's legally blind?
well, all the machines are spaced out within 6 foot from the
Oh,
other
okay.
machine, so you can get on it like somebody has a treadmill. Now we have a row of 9 treadmills, but so they alternate every other one because they're already 6 foot apart from each other, every other one. So what they do is they have like half of them going at one time. Like one day we only have 3 going. The next day we have the 4 going because they're alternate, and then they alternate back and forth. So not all the treadmills are working on the same day. So that's how they do that.
What are some of the things that you try and impart upon people who are not blind or visually impaired? What are the things you like to make them aware of?
That we don't need their help per se, because I've had people go, they would literally grab my arm and say, I'll help you across the street. And I said, no, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I've been doing it for years. Yeah, they'll do that, and they're not really helpful at all.
No,
So
no, they don't
yeah,
realize
and,
that though.
and don't assume. Just ask a question. Don't
Right.
assume. Say, hey, would you like me to help? No, I got this. And for the most part, if you're a regular in certain places, they won't even bother you. They'll let you go about your business and do whatever you do.
Well, it's also
And
a little
sometimes,
fright. I'm sorry, go
hmm?
on. I
And
was just saying
sometimes,
it's a little frightening to get grabbed like that.
oh, it is. It is by far, yes. Yes, by far it's very annoying. But and going to the dock and then I can't drive, so I get on the bus and then you get people that ask questions, and this is a very scary one that I want you to pass on to your people, is they'll ask you if your dog bites. If you have a guide dog. I have a guide dog, but he's retired now, so he's just my casual buddy right now. He just plays around and sleeps and plays around and eats. But when he was an active guide dog, people would ask, "Does he bite?" And you say, "Yeah, he does bite," because you don't want to set yourself up for being robbed. So
Ah, that's
yeah,
interesting. That's the first time I've heard
yep,
that one.
yeah, because that will happen if they know your dog won't bite. They'll people will rob you because they know you can't see them.
Wow, never
And
thought
then
of that.
and then also they'll say, "Do you make a lot of money?
Oh
You
my God.
riding the bus. Don't you make money?" Well, no, I don't make any money, or I wouldn't be riding the bus. You don't tell people you ride the bus out of necessity rather than whether you're got money or you don't.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know. I
though.
know.
Unfortunately, this is the world that if there's something out there, somebody will exploit it. Unfortunately.
Well, do you take Uber or Lyft? Do they help you more than taking the bus?
Yeah, we do have Lyft service per se, and we call those for when I need grocery assistance.
Sure.
And then I ride the regular transit bus because I'm on the route. So I just get an ADA ticket, which is cheaper than a standard fare. So
Yeah.
I just take that. It comes right outside my house, and I just go right to work. And it's across the street, but my wife works with me, so she works in the front of the building, and I work in the back. And she helps me across the street. And then
Oh, that's good.
on day, yes, and then on days that she doesn't work, I call a coworker who lives right down the street from me. She's a trainer. She comes in and picks me up, so I don't have to cross the street. So, well, it's actually a highway.
Well, tell us about your cooking expertise. How long have you been
Oh,
cooking?
oh, I've been cooking all my life. I love to cook. That's my solace. That's one thing I could do because I failed at everything else I ever tried to do because I didn't want to admit that I couldn't see, and I figured if I tried, maybe I could figure out a way, and I never could. So I'm like, man, I gotta have something to do, and I realized that I enjoyed cooking and burning things, and you learn from it. But my favorite recipe is chicken because chicken's cheap and it's good for you somewhat as long as you like it. But I have a recipe that I use and I have all kinds of gadgets. I don't mess with a regular oven because it's electric, and
Oh, yeah.
I don't want it. Yeah, I don't like to mess with it. My wife doesn't like me to mess with it either. So I have my own tools. I have a new wave oven, the old school one that's round. It's an air fryer cooker. You can fry
Ah,
with.
yeah.
You can cook anything on that thing. And
One of
then
our people, she uses the air fryer. I've tasted some things from it. So you really like it, right?
yes, yes, yep, it's good. Yeah, and the recipe that I have is really, really, really good.
Tell
And if
us.
you'd like me, okay, the recipe is it's air fried chicken through the or you can even do it in your oven. If you don't have an air fryer, you can do the oven. Just kind of crack your oven a little bit so the moisture can come out. And
Oh,
yeah, you put the way you do is you take that and you take some chicken strips that you could buy at the store, or you can get a bone-in chicken breast and cut your own strips. It'll be cheaper because you know that when they do stuff for you, they charge you more for it. But so you take and you make these strips and you make sure you cut with the grain of the meat and not against it. And you cut these strips and then you just put a little bit of olive oil on them. Just shake them around there a little bit, and then you dip them in. Uh, you season your flour with some salt and pepper, a little bit onion powder, and you stir it up with a whisk or a gloved hand, whatever you want to do. A lot of people like to use their hands for everything, but I don't. And then you you put your chicken in there and shake it around till it gets covered. Then you take it and you put it in an egg bath and get it all nice and coated, and then you re-dunk it in the batter. And then you
Now, do
put it
you?
on the
I was gonna ask, do you leave some time for that first batter to just sit there on it, or do you do it
no,
right away?
I just do it right away. Just get it right in there and get her on the on the tray, and then just I set my oven for like 14 minutes on each side, and then I flip it over because it takes about anywhere between 28 and 30 minutes in my air fryer. You can tell by the texture. I take it and touch it with a knife, and you can tell if it's done or not. It'll start to break apart lightly. So you do that cooking, and then while you're doing that, that'll give you time to clean up the mess that you made while you did that. You get rid of the bowls or whatever, clean it. So you got your area clear. So you clean all those bowls and things that you use and put them away. And then you get out a little saucepan and you turn the heat on low. And then you dump in some honey in the pan. I like to use about a cup and a half of honey in this pan.
Oh,
And then you take some crushed red pepper, some
ooh,
crushed hot peppers. You take those and about a half a teaspoon, and you put those in the honey and stir it around. And you let that heat get into that flavored heat get into that honey. And you let that warm. Don't bring it to a boil. Just get it warming. And then when your chicken's done, you place that in the bowl with that, and you pour that honey over top. And then you put a lid on and shake it lightly till all that honey gets over top of that. And then you put some tongs and put it on a plate. And then you can roast some asparagus with that,
oh,
just by
nice.
basting it with with some olive oil, and throw a little bit of mozzarella or some dry cheese on it. Put it in the oven and bake that for like 20 minutes. Then you got your full meal deal.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I like that. I've never heard about the honey and the red pepper together. That sounds amazing.
Uh-huh. Yep, it is good.
Did it take you
My
a while
dog's
to get
whining.
used to using? I'm sorry?
My dog's whining out here. He's sitting over here
Oh,
crying.
oh
What do you
no.
want, Bites?
Did
Want some Cheerios? Okay, come on. He
did
likes
you
Cheerios for a treat.
oh, that's so sweet. Did it
Yeah.
take you a while to get used to using the air fryer?
Yeah, a little bit. I did trial runs, with them. I had somebody. Well, actually, I have all the buttons marked with a dot, and then some of the buttons are already raised. So I
Oh,
just have
okay.
somebody tell me how. It's like a phone dial. So, you know where the numbers are, and the one button, there's only a button on the left and right, and all the other buttons I don't use except for the start and the cook time. Now the cook time, it's automatically set for a max of 350, and that's typically what you use. Now you can lessen the temperature, but it won't go any higher than 350. Because I've made beef jerky as well using the fryer.
Oh, that sounds amazing. How long does it take for you to make beef jerky?
Oh, about 6 to 8 hours.
Wow. Do you usually do it
Yeah.
over?
What was that?
Do you usually do your beef jerky overnight?
No, never during the day.
Ah,
I don't like to have equipment going at night because you never know what might go wrong with it while I'm sleeping.
sure, that's
So
right. And
yeah.
is it
So
on 350?
no, the beef jerky is set around 200 degrees. About 200 you set that at, and you make a paper or a tinfoil ball, and then you place that under the lid so that moisture can escape out from underneath, so it dries. And then you usually have two trays, and then after about halfway through, you switch the trays. You put the top tray on the top and the bottom tray, or switch them. You switch them around so that they get to dry out evenly, and then
Mm.
you're ready to go. When it's done, it's done, and you could stop it before the 8 hour. It depends on how dry you like it, but the drier you make it, the drier they make it, the less chances of you'll have it spoiling on you. So,
How long can you keep the beef jerky that you make that way?
well, you can refrigerate it and keep it for a long time, or you can
Like a
put a
month?
freshening. Yeah, yeah, you can put a freshening pack in it. You get freshening packs at any box store that sells things by bulk. You can get freshening packets that you just put in there, and it's all it is salt, and it keeps the moisture out. It's a little
Ah,
tiny. Have you ever opened up a bag of beef jerky and found that little packet in there?
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, that's what that is. That keeps the moisture out of there, so it absorbs into that little packet and stays off the meat.
Well, Roger, as we're winding up here, what do you want our audience to think of when they think of a person who's blind or visually impaired?
Or just like you just do things different than we do.
Yeah,
There's no difference. Yeah, disability doesn't mean inability.
exactly, exactly. Well, how can people reach out to you if they want to get in contact with you?
Well, if they want to contact me, they can email me at dalesullivan6@gmail.com, or they can join me on Facebook at Blind Warrior Facebook page.
Ah, okay, okay. Well, Roger, thank you so much for being with us today.
It was a
It's really been
pleasure.
enlightening. I'm glad. I'm glad you liked it.
It was
This has
great. I
been.
think you're doing a wonderful thing here, giving us
Oh,
a
thank.
voice. Yeah,
What was that?
giving us a voice, and thank you kindly for that.
Thank you. Well, I always find that when we understand one another, it makes life a lot easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, this has been Renee Rentmeester, creator, executive producer of the Cooking Without Looking TV show and podcast. You can reach out to us at www.cookingwithoutlookingtv.wordpress.com, or you can reach out the old fashioned way at 305 200 9104. And have a wonderful day. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, and you have a great evening.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye bye.